It's that special time of year when we trade in our used and broken world for a new one just like it. I'm the Lone Transmitter, and coming to you live from Yellowbrook City, you're listening to Wasteland Free Radio. That's right, St. Nucleus made his annual visit to Yellowbrook and he left us all sorts of potentially radioactive goodies. He brought me a used pair of size 15 leather boots. Useless as boots to me, but St. Nucleus must know a good scavenger when he sees one. He's got some pretty good skills anyway, so game respects game. First off, he was able to sneak into my studio in the middle of the night. Now I've got booby traps and I've got alarms and I'm a pretty light sleeper, not to mention the station beast. She's around here somewhere. I haven't seen her in a while. She might be in hunting mode. But he's never stolen anything, so we don't really have to worry about him at all. And if he can get around my traps, that just means I need to step my game up a little bit. If you happen to be outside the dome today, be sure to stop and take in the sights, because small, white flakes have begun to fall from the sky. Now, be warned, this is not snow. Please don't get these flakes on you, and whatever you do, don't try to catch them on your tongue like a snowflake, because, like I said, it is not snow. These tiny, dusty pieces of precipitation are just part of the ash cloud beginning to fall to the surface. Once every few years, the ash cloud dissipates just enough for us to catch a glimpse of the unfettered earthly sky, where stars shine, and if the timing is right, you might even get a glimpse of the broken moon. Now, we've got a few weeks until the festival, but you can see it here and there anyway. It's really exciting. The ash cloud might have been from volcanoes or forest fires. Nobody really knows. It might actually be the remains of New York City. So just make sure you decontaminate when you come home, and let's get ready for the Sky Festival. I know it's a little weird celebrating at a time like this. It's a little scary out there, especially with these new bands of raiders lurking about. Speaking of which, local bandit leader Rough Roxanne has struck again by taking to the streets with leaflets packed with useless misinformation and fake news. Maybe you've seen them. They're the ones that say, decontamination isn't real. Yeah, just undermining everybody's best efforts from keeping from having another radioactive incident. I know the local authorities urge everyone to go through decontamination, and I don't usually agree with them on things. But even a broken atomic clock is right twice a day. But no, Rough Roxanne had the nerve to put one of these leaflets on the door to my studio. Which, by the way, it's hard to get to. I already talked about that. Like, only my friends know how to get in safely, like Weatherbot 95 and the generator. I guess St. Nucleus as well. So she staples this pamphlet to my door and she wrote me a note. It says, "Dear Sir," and sir is in quotes. "Dear Sir, please refrain from speaking positively of Yellowbrook's decontamination shacks, as they are just trying to steal your skin cells to clone you. If you don't stop supporting this decontamination regime, we will be forced to take action once again. Seriously yours, Rough Roxanne." And then she lists all of her accolades: Raider Leader, Road Warrior, and Mutant Mom. Well, Rough Roxanne, we've made it over 100 days without a radioactive incident, and we've been using the decon shacks the whole time. So, I don't know what else to tell you. I can promise you that they're not stealing anybody's skin cells for cloning. The caravan of cloners isn't welcome here. They know that. The clones themselves are of course welcome in Yellowbrook. After all, they didn't ask for it. They were born that way? Or maybe not born, per se, but formed? Anyway, back to Rough Roxanne. Decontamination isn't a scam, and nobody is trying to steal anyone's skin. You have to travel outside of the city for that, and if that's something you're into, I can probably hook you up, but talk to me after the show or send me an email. wastelandfreeradio@gmail.com. And at last, reporting in from the Radlands beyond the protective dome, here's my good friend, the recycled robot himself, Weatherbot 95, with our forecast.
Hello, my friend. I am truly sorry for missing that last meteor storm. I was relieved to hear no one was injured. I lost your signal when I discovered a large electromagnetic cloud in the Radlands, and it really smoked my circuits. I always carry spare components. When you've been around as long as I have, you can feel a storm coming in your titanium gold alloy superstructure built by Dynamo Science Labs. Forecast loading. Let me just print this out. Just a minute. My sensors indicate an 80% chance of acid rain next week. My metal body will protect me from the acid rain, but your puny human skin...
Come on, 95, we talked about this. That's your base programming talking, remember? We don't speak to humans like this anymore.
Apologies. I advise all residents of Yellowbrook to seek shelter beneath the protective dome. Inside the protective dome, you are all safe. But if you're planning on taking the little rad tots to see a movie at the drive-in, I suggest perhaps a jacket or an umbrella. This atmosphere will most likely contain concentrations of radioactive isotopes that are also toxic to your kind for the next 533 years.
And tell me, 95, what should someone do as soon as they return to the city after being outside and being exposed to the atmosphere?
It is recommended that all humans, mutants, and non-identified people proceed directly to a decontamination station as soon as possible. They are located at every entrance to the city.
That's absolutely right, because it's been over 100 days without a radioactive incident, and we are on a winning streak here. I don't remember what the record is, but it doesn't really matter. And yes, Weatherbot 95 called them decontamination stations, not shacks. It's the same thing. He just remembers when they were properly staffed and all of the walls were intact. He's been around for a while. Well, thanks for the hopefully accurate and only vaguely threatening forecast, 95. It was good to hear from you again. I hope your circuits didn't get too fried out there.
All good over here, my friend. I am heading home, and I will see you in approximately 5 days, 3 hours, 27 minutes, 31 seconds, and... error. Recalculating.
It's cool, 95. You don't have to do math on my account. I'll see you when I see you. But where are you right now?
Approaching Max the Millions Wares and Sundry. Do you need supplies? Components for a new signal relay? Perhaps a new pet?
Oh, I'm so glad you said something. I don't need a new pet. I'm sure the station beast is still here somewhere roaming around. I haven't seen her in a while. She might be in stealth mode. But I could always use more coffee and maybe some salt. Whatever she's got over there is fine.
Roger. Signing off.
Well, I feel much better. I know Weatherbot 95 is safe. I've got more coffee on the way. Everything's looking up. Alright, emails. Here's one from AnimeFan29. Were there 28 of you already? Okay. They wrote, "What if the giant metal egg shows up outside my home, glowing and floating, scaring my children at all hours of the night? I paid good money for this cargo container, and I expect privacy. I can't sleep thinking about this. What if it's a giant baby chicken? We don't have enough giant worms to feed an entire kaiju chicken. What is Dynamo Science Labs going to do about the potential of a future chicken kaiju attack?" Well, AnimeFan29, as far as I know, the egg is locked in a containment area within Dynamo Science Labs. You probably don't have to worry about it floating or going anywhere near your home. So you have nothing to be afraid of. Okay, well, this is the Radlands, and one wrong step could lead to your certain doom, so you do actually have a lot to be afraid of, but we don't know what the egg is. And apart from destroying the Freeman Street Bridge, it's really done no harm to anybody. And here's an email from Rainfire28. They say, "It sounds like there aren't many plants in the Radlands. Where do you get your coffee from if there aren't any plants?" That's a great question. The environment just hasn't stabilized ever since the Great Devastation, and that's just how it is. But most of us have little hydroponic sets in our houses. It's kind of hard to do, and you usually need to have some kind of an airtight room. I just use a drawer in my desk, and I can grow some little things. But Max the Millions has a huge hydroponics bay in one of their warehouses. It's awesome. So they grow coffee beans. They grow pretty much anything that used to grow in tropical environments. It's pretty cool. You can even get pineapples from Max the Millions, but they're not in season right now. You could ask me how seasons work in hydroponics bays, but I would not be able to answer that question. Okay, so I know that this is the Radlands, and we always run into weird people and weird situations, but I've got to tell you, I'm a little concerned about this Courier person. If you don't know what I'm talking about, last week that person I met out in the robot graveyard left me a message, and it contains like a code of some kind, and I still can't figure it out. What's even worse is that the message apparently had a self-destruct protocol, so now half of it's garbled. I don't know if I can even find the code anymore. I have the original message backed up, so I'm not worried about losing it entirely, but my backup unit is hard to get to, and I just wish I could hear this better. Here, give it a listen.
I departed weeks ago. I hail from the glowing They call me the Courier. Death. Code of mine. Much to discuss. Until we meet again.
Like I said, I have the original backed up, so I'm not super worried about it, but maybe I shouldn't be talking about a secret code on my radio show? But they did send it to me, so they must expect me to play it on my show, right? Does anyone else experience another apocalypse whenever they visit their family? Anyway, Weatherbot95 and I usually just chill and have a drink. But with my parents in town, 95 usually takes a vacation. My parents aren't bad people or cannibals or anything, but they're a lot. For starters, my dad has a cybernetic implant in his neck that helps him speak, but every once in a while it glitches out, and all we hear is this high-pitched scream until it goes away. And my stepmom is, well, she's a sort of radiation witch. She thinks she's immune to radiation, which is possible if you're a mutant, but they're just regular humans. Dad's implant does make him a cyborg, but he'll never admit it. So Diane, my stepmom, thinks she's immune to radiation, but she'll still decontaminate if I ask her to. She always shows up with fresh ingredients that she's foraged on the road, and we have food for dinner. She asks about 95 a lot, and he's never here when they are. I usually make up some excuse for him. Then they ask me why I haven't settled down with anybody. Believe it or not, it's kind of hard to find a good partner these days. Anyway, they're coming over for the Winter Sky Festival, so that'll be interesting. I'll keep you all updated. Starting off the new year is another band from the old Empire State. This is Head Sound and their song, Like a Painting. I'm the Lone Transmitter. Thank you so much for listening to Wasteland Free Radio. Wasteland Free Radio is written and produced by J.S. Pitcher. Our background intro and outro music is by 11D7, and you can find them at 11d7isalive.com. This episode's featured artist was Head Sound with their song Like a Painting. You can support them by following them on Spotify, and you can also find them on Instagram, links in the show notes. Thank you so much to everybody who's been leaving ratings and reviews on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else. It really does help the show out a lot. It's growing and people are enjoying it, and it really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. You can follow us on Instagram at Wasteland Free Radio, and you can send us an email at wastelandfreeradio@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, and remember, during the apocalypse, batteries will be in short supply, so get yourself a crank radio.